Now, the Chinese Coast Guard has seized control of a disputed reef near a major Philippine military outpost in the South China Sea, the move adding to long-standing territorial tensions with the Philippines. Beijing claims sovereignty over almost all of the South China Sea and has waved away competing assertions from other regional countries, as well as an international ruling that its position has no legal basis. The two countries then engaged in months of confrontations in the contested waters, right as the Philippines takes part in sweeping joint military drills with the United States. Well, let's talk about the latest then. Our international affairs editor, Philip Turle, is with me here on set. Philip, it's a pretty basic question. Just tell us what on earth is going on here.
Right, well, if you look at the picture there, which you've just been looking at, there's not much to talk about. It's a very small little island with nobody living on it. But the Chinese have been, and they sent this picture of Coast Guards holding up the Chinese flag. And that was followed pretty rapidly afterwards by another picture sent by the Filipinos, who are holding up their flag, also on the same place, which is Sandy Cay. Now, why is Sandy Cay important? It's not really that important, but what it is important for is that it's very close to another island called Titu, and that is where the Philippines have their main coast guards, and they have a military backup there. Now, all of this is taking place in the South China Sea, around the Philippines, which you can see here behind me. And these small little islands are wanted by the Chinese and wanted by other countries as well in the same region. Now, this has all come to a head in recent days because the Filipinos who have control of the island of Thitu have been organising with the United States a military patrol, a military testing session which goes up until next week, where there are 17,000 soldiers and military personnel taking part. And this is something basically that has irked the Chinese, and this is the Chinese flexing their muscles, saying this has gone far enough. The Filipinos are out of order. They should not be doing this to stress out the Chinese and use this island as a base when it really should belong to China. And why the Chinese sent these coast guards into the island in the first place was to take photos to try to prove that what the Filipinos are doing is illegal. But there's been no word from the Chinese that they actually want to take control of this small little island here, because basically it's just a pile of snow in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, so what's been the reaction then from Manila and also from the US as well?
Well, first of all, the United States, strong words coming out from the US National Security spokesman, James Hewitt, saying actions like these threaten regional stability and violate international law. There have also been reactions since then from the US Defense Secretary, Pete Hegseth, who said that Washington was doubling down on its alliance with the Philippines and was determined to re-establish deterrence against China. As for the Philippines military, it says that the operation reflected an unwavering dedication and commitment of the Philippines government to uphold the country's sovereignty, sovereign rights and jurisdiction, and that this action was not directed against any country, but was invaluable for one country only, and that was the Philippines. And that is something, of course, that the Chinese are not accepting.
Philip, I'm sure our viewers are very well aware. It's not the first time, is it, that we've seen tension between China and its neighbours?
No, it's not the first time. And remember, this region has been a hotbed of military activity for quite a long time now. We all remember talking on France 24 a lot about the AUKUS Accord between Australia, the United States and the United Kingdom to build these nuclear submarines to survey the region. There's a lot of concern about Chinese expansion, China wanting to use the region to expand its own military aims there. There are also other worries from countries like Vietnam. We talked about the Philippines, Taiwan, Malaysia and Brunei, who are also concerned about Chinese maneuvers in the region, not only for the South Pacific, but also for the future of Taiwan. And the US has said, well, we're not going to take sides in this, but what we are going to do is keep an eye on the situation there. And what we want is for freedom of navigation in the region, and there should be no standoffs between neighbouring countries. As for Japan, that's another country that is not directly involved in all of this, but Japan is supplying military equipment to countries in the South China Sea, and that is something the Chinese also are angry about. So what we're basically seeing here, Stuart, is this area is becoming more and more of a flashpoint as time goes on. The Chinese are flexing their muscles. They want to take more control of islands like the Spratly Islands that we were just talking about. And there is, I think, growing concern that what we're seeing is the possibility of serious global consequences if this carries on and this standoff becomes greater in the future. So I think we have to keep a watchful eye on what's going on in the South China Sea.
Yeah, one to watch. Philip, thanks very much. Philip Turle, International Affairs Editor here on France 24.